All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday morning. Today is May 27th. Today we are gonna be doing a little morning session for everyone that can't make it on Sunday nights. So I'm gonna kind of break down a little bit of how I blend MVG with Quantum. SPX isn't open right now, so the examples I'm gonna show you here are gonna also coincide with SPX. But it's a strong tool to use. The MVGs or gaps and inefficiencies in the market give you a hint of what may occur and little things like that, right? Doesn't always promise anything, just like any strategy or any little, inefficiency or oddity that we may see. But at least you see them pop up and you see them happen and you know what they mean or what it may potentially lead up to. So something I like to go over, something I like to use a lot during New York, and I like to go over this during New York. I do SPX reading just like Max does, and I enjoy it very much, and I use SPX as a heavy player for that. And I've been actually using MVG with Quantum on NQ during Asia that has led me to be able to catch some decent moves. And I'll show you guys exactly what I look for in that. And it is our most underrated indicator. It is one of Max's strongest confluences, especially during New York session, and it's a very awesome tool. So I'm gonna break this down here. This is kind of this morning setup, and again, you'll see setups like this throughout, right? You'll see regular MVGs. Got Saucebox in here. Let me hide that for now. All right, so you'll have regular MVGs that do not have the yellow line. Those are just regular, little regular gaps. Okay, so you'll see these, right? But even the non-golden ones paired up with Quantum, you'll see, right, failed bearish move, right? Break and retest and push. Something like this gives you a strong indication that there's a strong push coming in. And if it holds, right, you're going to see this MVG get tested over here. This MVG was created all the way over here on Tuesday, right? And you see it push right down to it and bounce right off. Could not fill and break it. That's a strong area for potential turn. And you can see the action lines crossed up and gave you that little push. Let me actually turn this blue. Okay. So over here, I didn't catch this one here. This is too early for me, but you're going to see the beginning push, especially when you combine it with the blues or the purples, right? You can see the beginning push. Here's a golden MVG. There's your yellow line. That's what kind of makes it golden right here. There's your blue push, right? Came back down to retest a couple times, pushed back up. Now you had a little bit of a range. As long as it holds this MVG, you do not want it to break and close below. You want it to either fill and bounce or just hold it up and not fill it at all. You want to see it stay above that, right? Combine that with the confluences of Quantum and you have a potential big move coming in, and you'll see that push back up, right? You combine that with the purple candles, you can see that the bears are kind of losing here. Then you see another little push down, another golden MVG with a blue right behind it, and then you have your failed bearish move and you have your explosive move. And guess what? You saw it again here, but without a blue candle this time. Just you'll see the continuations on these, right? Golden MVG here, eventually broke our purple, retested the MVG, right? You see the little tap right here on that wick, little tippy tap, and then explosion up. Okay, and you combine that with your other confluences, break of a purple, boom, boom, boom. You know where your entries are, your stop losses could be, and be careful, right? This is one thing I always try to tell people is be careful trying to catch gap fills when there's a strong trend in the opposite direction. Okay, you can use those for potential targets when the trend flips. But be cautious, just like the Quantum levels, there's no guarantee they're going to get filled. You're going to get close to it. If those areas are strong resistance or support, depending on the direction they're at, they might not fill. They might just bounce right off of it or very close to it. So it's something I always heed caution, right? Using the Quantum levels as TPs, I don't do that. I trail closer when it gets to it, right? Especially when it's a big move or towards a 5-minute level, I will trade closer and I'll leave a runner with a little extra breathing room to see if it can go. So right now we're getting trapped in between a bunch of levels, okay? So this is how I avoid getting eaten up, right? It could go in any direction. We're still obviously uptrending, but this needs to get through all these little tiny barriers. And look at this, 78 to 84, that's 6 points. 84 to 91, that's 7 points. There's no room for much of a trade here for me personally, right? There's better room if it does break 57, to 44, but that's still only 13 points, right? So this is a good area to sit on your hands and let the market open up the areas, the levels, right? This is how I avoid getting eaten up in a chop that not even I can trade. Okay, I'm pretty good at trading the chop, but I have to wait for the defined areas, and I have to have room. When it gets this tight, you do not want to start trying to play the guessing game of which level it's going to break, because you could easily get faked out, right? If you're looking at your time frames, right? Again, market structure is a big thing with quantum for me, how I use it, right? What are we seeing, right? We're obviously uptrending on the 5 minute, right? But the 1 minute, if you're looking at it, right, what has it been doing? It's been making lower highs, right? If this is going to be the beginning of a flip, okay, if it's going to be the beginning of a flip, these levels up above should start holding a little bit. So we're seeing the rejection of 78. We want to see that 72 break on the 2 minute, right? If you look at your 2 minute, 2 minutes kind of funky looking. It's still looking like it's uptrending. If you zoom out, right, you look at your higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. So you're kind of in between the 1 minute and the 2 minute. They're kind of undecided. The 1 minute is kind of downtrending. The 2 minutes still not really downtrending. The 5 minutes still obviously uptrending. This is where you want to heed caution. You want to be careful. You want to wait for the levels to break and open up, because again, it could go either direction and you don't want to get caught in the middle. And I sit on my hands when I see things like this. Okay, I don't come in with biases. I wait for the reactions. I wait for things to open up, and then I will take a trade if I see a setup, right? The blue candle breaks as a setup. Okay, the break and retest. All right. Like an example over here around the 2, right? This is a purple break of a blue, right? But then you had your second one down here, and you can see where the pauses occur and where these little tiny bounces happen. So let's look at our 2 minute chart, right? When the 1 minute gets extra choppy, I will look at the 2. When the 2 minute gets extra choppy, I will look at the 5. So over here, right, we had a lineup of 3 blues, right? 1, 2, 3. This first one broke. There's your break and retest. Then this one broke. There's your break. This one kind of broke and just continued down, then popped itself back up, right? We have that 5 minute level below. So you always have to heed caution of those, right? Right now, this is what has to break, that 64 on the 2, and below that, that 57 on the 1, right? There's a little bit of a gap up here, not a golden one. This could just give it its little muster to push down if that 2 minute can continue to stay underneath that 72, and then maybe challenge this down there. Not a golden MVG, but still an MVG. And if it gives it a little bit of a push, it could just push to that level down here. So this is where it could get choppy, right? This is a lower high potential on the 1. So if we're going to see a new low, you need to see these levels start to break, right? Here we get a potential 2 minute break of this blue here. 5 minute is still, like I said, it's still in a slight uptrend. This would need to pull down to that 44 and break that 44, then the 37. And then we may make our way down to the 20s again. We have a few golden MVGs that could get filled, or where it could potentially react and then fill if the trend flip occurs. So there's a little bit of a push, right? As it gets closer to that 60 level, you're going to see resistance there, because this is a support area. So you may see it start pausing and kind of bouncing. It might come back up and challenge that 70 again. Ideally, now that the 1 and the 2 are crossing down, right, you want it to stay below that 67, 68 area. You don't want to see it pop back up, because if it does, this is going to still range. Okay, so always, this is why I'm very cautious and I wait for certain setups to appear, right? The 2 minute did not break the blue. Okay, did not break it. So now we have this here. I'm going to actually delete, I'm going to change the colors here. And sometimes they go, sometimes they'll go, like in this example, right? It closed above and it's kind of going, and that's okay, right? There's that MVG push, right? MVG into a purple with that push into that level, right? Again, this is something I see a lot. Is this a trade I would take? No, personally not. Just because we're too close to that level, right? If it so happens to break it and goes, great. If it doesn't, oh well. But there it goes. It's pushing. There's a little wick, right? Now you want to see this 2 minute close below that 64 and stay below the 64, and then make its way down to that 44. That's what we want to see. That's the progression I like to see when I'm reading the market. Indicators bugging on Walter. Yeah, Alaskan, we've already let them know. You have to like close it and refresh it. The candles stop appearing if you leave it open for too long. So we already let them know about it. I've been experiencing that as well. And I constantly have to close it. And it's like after a few minutes, it stays okay for a while, but after a few minutes, it'll stop creating quantum candles. So they are working on it though. All right. Yeah, crucial. See, exactly. Exactly. So when you have so many levels like that and your brain's like, what do I do? That's the hint to leave it alone. That's your hint of, okay, I'm not going to fuck with this. I'm not going to mess with this because this could go either direction. If I don't have a clean read, you're not going to get into the trade. And that's how you avoid getting getting eaten up in the chop. So we did make a lower low now. So there's 44. All right. It didn't give me a setup for me. Okay. This just closed above and then melted down. It did not give me a setup, but there's that 44 tap, right? And look at that 44 jump. Holy shit. All right. The levels, look at the levels, right? The indicator will work on trading view and wealth charts only right now, Irish lad. Look at that bounce off of 44. Right all the way up to that 84. The 5 minute to 5 minute. Is there news today? Does anybody know? I don't even know if there's news today. The DOM's starting to go nuts. Volume kicked in. Volume kicked in hard. If this breaks over the 90s, this is a potential trifecta with that 5 minute going blue. There's no news? Then I don't know what that is. But that needs to break over that 91. And then you're going to get newer highs. There it goes. Holy shit. There it goes. Look at that. We're going to get a 5 minute trifecta here. Oh my God. Did anybody catch that? I caught a little bit of it. I'm kind of scared, so I trailed it really close, only with 3. I got $60. Not much. Those impulse candles are scary as hell, so I want to see if this holds over 90. Wow. That holds over 90. 5 minute potential trifecta push, but this is all-time highs. There's nothing up there to gauge. Absolutely nothing. But it's cool to be able to see it coming. Red folder news. We got red folder. Hold on, I gotta take a look. See if I got an email. No, I haven't gotten an email about any restrictions on the pros at least, so can't be red folder. Hell yeah, there she goes. There she goes. There's a little bit of it that retested that 5 minute at 290. You guys saw that retest at 290? I caught a little bit of that with a couple of micros. I have my runner already running. One runner up $50 right now, just to see where it wants to go. Holy shit, there's the trifecta, guys. There's a trifecta. Boom. In 1 minute entry, 88, all the way up to 36, 50 points. There you go. Who caught that? Who caught that? My runner's up $80 right now. We saw a trifecta live. Couldn't have asked for a better morning session. Holy shit. And I caught that on the pro. I'm going to lock myself out of this. May 900. I am recording. Yes, I think I am. Hold on. Yes, I'm recording. We're recording, baby. Oh my God, she's still going. She's still going. Who's in on this? Look at that. Look, isn't it fun that Quantum sees it coming? Like, isn't this fun? Like the news. How many times have we seen this happen, guys? How many times? Every time before Trump tweets. Like every single time. Like, holy shit, guys. What a freaking explosion. 60 points. I'm locking myself out of this pro, guys. I'm not going to feel the FOMO. Like, because I feel it coming. So I need to lock myself out. What an explosion. There's a trifecta live in action. Couldn't have asked for anything better than that. Wow, 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 wow. Fucking amazing. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Holy shit. 786 at 368. That's right there. So we're hitting it right now. It's still pointing up. Everything's pointing north. This could pull back to retest a little bit, maybe, but right now this is still everything is pointing north. So where it could pull back, I mean, it might pull back. It's pulling back a little bit now, but Dom's going buck wild. Buck wild. Is speeding up here around the 68, so it's paused right now. If there's a 2-3 or 786 there, whoa, there's that rejection. Whoa, I'm working on an eval. Just caught that little dump with 1 mini. I'm on an eval. This is an eval. Like, oh god, okay, I'm done with that eval. All right, that was nice. That was there. I don't have it drawn up, but if that was there, that was a beautiful rejection. Look at that beautiful push all the way up. That's that rejection. Insane. That was an insane push-up, guys. I'm so happy we got to catch that live, too. So happy we got to catch that live. Holy shit. Holy crapola. Hold on, I need to censor myself a little bit. That was beautiful. Trifecta in full display during our morning session. Let's go, Zurdro. That could be your one and done. This could be your one and done for a lot of y'all. $786 to the tip of the blue in full display. Exactly. Could share that with Llama and be like, look at the skibbity boop bop and the beep boop and the wick and flip and all that fun stuff, right? There's that 5-minute level at 290. So that 290 is now the area. There's a little bit of a push. So she's gonna go test it again. I'm looking at the DOM, trying to see what it does. That violent push. All right. Let's see what Dom wants to do now. Man, that might be the area. So far, it didn't react. I didn't see any reaction up there again. I'd like to see the Dom go nuts. It did not, but they rejected that area again. Dude, that was awesome. That was awesome. The action lines are curling down and everything. So let's see where this wants to go now. This could come back down and test that 93. We have a lot of support at that 44, obviously. So if this 44 ends up giving way during New York, then we have a lot of room down. If this 44 gives way, then we have 44, 214 and then 280, 180 on the 5 minute. Below 180 on the 5 minute, you have a ton of room, right? But then this is right. When you look at the room you have on the 5 minute, if it ever gets down there, right? Then you look at the 5 and the 2 at the 1. What do you have in between? You have a ton of stuff in between for it to kind of battle through. But always remember, New York volume could say fuck you to everything that happened during Asia and blow right through all these levels. So this is why it's very, very, very important to be patient for the reactions. No quantum candle showing up. Still a strong uptrend, 5 minute level below, right? Any short, currently, this is something I always say to people. When you're on a strong uptrend, the shorts tend to be short-lived until you have something else guiding you. Look at that pull right back up. Look at that, right? This could be a high, new high or low. You're on the 1. 5 minutes still looking hella bullish. So this is where I'd be patient, either for that 290 break to catch any kind of short, or wait for the candle to pull down. I want to see the action lines kind of push up a little more, get closer, so that candle closure below on the 5 might give us a push down. But look at that, pushed all the way right back up. Well, this could also be a lower high here on the 1. So this is where we have to wait. It's trying to cross down. All right, awesome. That was actually really freaking awesome. I'm kind of like so focused on the DOM now, so I'm being a little quiet because I'm looking at where it's going to start reacting. It's not reacting yet. I'm not seeing any influx. It's about 8:30, so we caught an insane move. Trifecta in full display, live in action for everybody for an AM session from 90 all the way up, almost 100-point move in the morning, guys. 80-point move in the morning, which is beautiful as hell. So there you go, Tyler. You guys want to do a little profit roll call, go ahead, because I'm sure you guys might not even need to trade the morning show if you want to, right? Just listen in or trade an eval. Is ridiculous. And scat, yeah, with the P2P and the skibbity boo bops in there, it's a fucking beautiful thing. It's a very beautiful thing. What are you looking for re-entry on the long? At the current moment, I caught the move. I don't care about re-entry points unless I see it pull down all the way to 90, and then I will want to see my DOM react at 90. If this is already all the way up here, the move already occurred. Do not FOMO. Do not try to catch a continuation move, right? The move already occurred. I'm waiting for reactions around either my levels or the quantum candles, right? If this 1 minute manages to create a level, guess what I'm going to look for? I'm going to look to see if this uptrend is strong, the level's going to break, right? It's going to break to the upside, and then it's going to become support. You just got off work? Oh, Corey, it's okay, bro. It's okay, but do not FOMO, right? It's okay to miss plays. I miss plays all the time. It's okay to miss plays. So don't come in thinking, oh man, this and that, right? It happens. It happens. And that's a part of growth that you're going to have to overcome, because just because you miss a move doesn't mean you have to take a trade that very instant. All right, here's that level at 349. Oh yeah, I have to adjust. That's why I'm like, hold on, let me adjust my label offset. So if you guys want the levels to be closer, that label offset, I have it set to 5 for the shows, right? So it's like hugging the candles. If you guys want these levels to be closer, like that, right? Now they're very close, just like that. That's how you guys can adjust that on that label offset. Solid bounce to the trifecta, 786. Reverse to the FVG bounce. Yeah, see, Scat, you're talking a little foreign to me now. The FVGs are still a little foreign to me, but that was beautiful, bro. Like that was A++, right? And here are the confluences on this, guys. Look at the A++, right? We just tapped this guy, but A++, both on the 1 and the 2, breaking a line of purple candles, right? Breaking a line of purple candles, leading into a cross up on the 5 that just so happened to be blue as well. So your trifecta on full display, entry on the 1, continuation on the 2, and then the pop on the 5. Right, the 5 doesn't always give you that strong of a pop, so that's where I like to let the runners ride. And we caught on that thing, just exploded from 306 to 279, so 73-point continuation on the 5-minute closure after it retested that 290 as well. So gave you an opportunity to get in on that test of 290. So here's that 49 rejection, or level rejection, right? So let's see if this thing wants to break this low over here, and then it might race back to 90. 2 minutes kind of curling down as well. But again, this is where I'm just patient. Like I caught that move up, I don't need to catch the move down. You don't need to catch both sides. I know there's some of you DGens in here who are probably shorting it right there too. And you know, if you guys are okay with it, that's your call. If you're green, right? But again, I don't play both sides immediately. I caught that one move. I don't have any other confluences other than that level here. That's not enough confluence for me. So now we have this new candle here, marking that bad boy purple. All right, let's move this down here. Let's get rid of these old lines because we have levels in between. We don't need them. Gonna get rid of this guy. Make sure all my blues that are still active are lined up. Do the same thing on the 1 minute, right? This thing is gone. Gonna move this guy down here. Look at the snail trail of golden MVGs. Boom, boom. 2 minute is curling down some more. So if you guys are in this short, trail it, but you're good. Yeah, not a trade I would take personally, but I know some of you guys probably have. So you entered the retrace of 90. I froze on that big blue. Yeah, that level retest. So this is where, okay, so when you see an action line crossing, right, the 5 minute creates levels. So you know that this is going to create a level around 290. So this is what I'm measuring, right? When I'm doing measurements, if I'm looking, okay, this needs to close above 290, but there were multiple reasons why it needed to close over 290. We had that stack of levels up at 291.25, right? And then the 5 minute would have created the new bed, right? When a resistance becomes support, this is what you'll see. That's the common pattern on everything that is support and resistance. So that new support zone got created when the break of the old resistance zone, and then you saw that retap of 290 and then the rocket ship launch up. And that's what that was. On these kind of things, two areas where I would have my stop loss would be one below that break of that uptrend line, or if it was too wide, it would just be about 10 points, maybe 15 points. But this one would have been a nice stop loss right below the 80 right here, right? 90, stop loss below 80. It breaks that thing. We're going to challenge the bottom of the candle. Little 3 bar on the 1 minute potential for a push. There goes. We're going to see that tap of 290 again. It'll be interesting to see it. But that was a nice 786 short too, according to Scat. So beautiful double plays there. If you were P2P, you would have confidently caught that, right? I don't have P2P on my chart right now, so and I'm not gonna read it. I'm only reading quantum right now with the MVGs. But there's that 2 minute is potentially going to create a level. Again, this is how I measure, guys, right? This is how I measure. So look at my crosshairs on my 2 minute chart. I'm looking at where the cross might occur. It's going to occur potentially around 330. So this, you want it to stay below 330. If it pulls up and retests, see right here, that's where the cross is going to occur around 330, 331. Could occur a little lower. So this is where you want it to stay below and then continue its merry way down. So if it pops up to retest 330, you want it to stay below 330. And nope, look at that, right? There's that pop up again. This is why I say be careful with shorts. They're going to be short-lived, right? We got really close to that 90 level within 20 points. So that area is going to be potentially strong, but this thing is still trying to create that level at 3 right now, 330-ish too. That's where the cross would be, but it's separating it right now. So there you go, right? This is why I say be careful shorting on strong uptrends until you get added confirmations, because you're going to have those fuck you candles appear just like that. Very nice Cat. 315 is the blue candle tip, yes. So again, you could test anywhere inside the blue candle though. So it's not, there's no always guarantee it's going to hit the tip and then bounce, right? It could bleed through and still go to 290. It's not showing up on drop down. Can't select it to manually input. Hold on, let me see. Anyone else have 2 minutes show up in settings? Oh, okay. If you do not, Elroy, if you do not have the 2 minute levels available to you, you might not have the proper subscription on TradingView for the 2 minute. The 2 minute is one of those added, like, I think you have to have essentials. I think it's essentials. I forgot which one you have to have for the 2 minute chart. On wealth charts, you can get it no matter what. Like that's the kind of nice thing about wealth charts. But again, wealth charts is still like has little tiny things that we're working on. But the 2 minute levels on TradingView, are only available if I think you have essentials. I forgot which plan it is. I've been watching this thing run all night from 29,985. Didn't jump due to expecting a pullback. So I'm growing, learning. Yeah, there you go. If I missed, I'm waiting. Yeah. So again, right? My thing, and this is hard for people. This is very hard, especially if you're a seasoned trader or if you've been taught a certain way, right? It is hard not to have a bias. It is very hard not to have a bias, right? All-time highs, this thing can't keep going up. You want to short it. I only trade reactions, period. Okay. If it keeps going and gives me a move, great. If it doesn't, oh well, right? I have my structure points. I have my stop loss points. I know when a play is potentially, dead on one direction. I know where the chop might occur. Right now, we're right below that 349. We're right below that 342. On the bottom, we have that 311, 290, right? This could be where we get stuck into the open. You might start seeing another move at 9-ish, right? The closer we get to 9:30, the little more you're going to see a little more spurts of volume come in, and then you're going to see little moves here and there, right? But this could start ranging very soon. Some of you guys, if you paid attention to my videos when I do the New York Open, I love New York Opens when they give you a tight range because those are the easiest, lowest risk potential trades to take for the New York Open. If the range is too big or too wide, I'm not interested. And I will sit on my hands and I won't YOLO and eval on the New York Open unless I have a nice, clean setup. All right, speaking of which, I need to lock myself out of this account. I didn't do it yet because I forgot. So I'm going to do it and then I'm going to screenshot you guys the proof. So custom, and then this is going to be 11. I do it till 11 p.m. Lock trading, yes, lock, and close. All right. So I'm on a streak right now. This will be my 11th payout in a row. This one's not going to be quite 1,000, but again, I'm fine with that. It'll be like 900 or something. That's still, again, right? 3 times more than I used to make going to work for 10 hours. So locked myself out. Yes, Amor. So I'm done with the TPT accounts. Now I can work on my other accounts. That's a pro account. So the pro accounts, anything over 2,000 I can take out. So I can take out basically 1,100 minus 20%, which would be about 210 bucks. 220 bucks, something like that. So it'll be like 800, I think. 850 or 60, somewhere around there, they'll be able to take out tonight. I took out 1,200 yesterday. 1,600 minus the fees, so it was like 1,300. And 800, that's 2K in 2 days. Like, who won't take that? I've been on an 11-day streak of 1K plus payouts. So, that's more than 10K in 11 days. Like, I don't need to be fancy and make bigger numbers. I'm very happy with that. I can live with that. I can pay for so much with that, right? I already paid a full year of the new place we're going to live, which is amazing. So all this is like money I get to save, get to put away for trips, for fun things we can do in Florida. I don't need to make a whole lot. Oh man, I already locked it out, Amon. I locked it out, so I can't do the pro anymore. I locked out the pros. She has fun with those. But I've made it my thing. Okay, so those of you that know, who've been in the Discord and know, right? I struggled in early April. I went through some mental, like a mental pause, a little bit of stress, a lot of it actually. It was a lot of stress. Okay, the moving, the illness. My dad, my dad has cancer. I think I already said that already. And then my daughter needing surgery. And then my wife needing surgery. And I went on tilt for a good 3 weeks in April. Like, blew every single one of my accounts. And then finally, like, snapped out of it. And then started going back to my old schedule. So I have a schedule. I share it with my students because I also have morning setups and Asia setups. And I went back to that schedule and built up everything back from nothing, like literally blew everything, built it all back up, and now I'm back at it again. So it's very doable from nothing, and it's important. And I know a lot of you guys in here, Scat, Passion Pursuer, you've been here for a while, Reaper, some of you guys, right? You guys have been killing it. There's a bunch of you. If I don't name you, I know there's a bunch of you in here. You know, Kingdom, you know, there's no reason, right, to not stay disciplined. It's very hard to do, like, especially when you're trying to get back to where you were. Because I'm not going to lie and say I didn't feel like I needed to race back to it, because there were days where I was like, I need to get back to all my funded accounts. I need to get back to all of them. But I found myself breaking every single one of my rules, going way too heavy when I didn't need to, and blowing more accounts than passing them. And I'm like, what am I doing? And then I went back, slowed myself down again, right? Went back to looking for my low, my 1-to-1, right? This is how I started it all, guys. My 1-to-1, the 10 points for 10 points and so on. I started doing that, getting back to my schedule, and boom, I'm back to 30 something funded accounts. Been getting payouts for 11 days straight. And it's been awesome to do it again. It's been awesome to do it all over again. Almost like taking a trip back. So we're inside this range right now. It's testing that big blue candle right now. All right. Sorry, guys. Got lost a little bit there. Once a quantum level is broken, do you delete it? Yes, I do delete it. Once it's broken, it is gone. It is invalidated. Once it's been broken and retested, right? You could leave it there if you want to see it where that resistance point might be. If it breaks back in, it'll usually retest the level inside. But I do delete it once it breaks. So this is tightening it up right now. This is getting tightened up on the 1. Got a purple, 2 purples here, blue down here. The 2-minute, you've got also that blue down here. Before I start changing the colors, let me just do this first. And then you got this guy here. So the 2 minutes also inside of a range. Right, and then if you break the bottom side of that too, you only have room to 290, and that's the way it's bounced strong. Every time it comes close, expect some sort of reaction there until it fully breaks it. Then you can make your way back down to the 70s, maybe 60s, and slowly push your way down unless we get a very strong 930 push. It'll be dropping soon. The announcement's coming in a few weeks actually now. Can't believe the blitz is already in 3 weeks. The quantum family always free. Oh, I know, Passion Pursuer. Like, I'll love going into the quantum chat and my student chat every day. I love reading all the comments and all the breakdowns. Scat's been giving some great breakdowns. Sam, Sam also was one of our guys who was giving down, great breakdowns as well. So them two together, it's been so fucking fun to read the quantum chat. I've had to take a break with things that have happened. I'm trying to refocus. Yeah, Alaskan, exactly. Like, I know you're going through your thing, and it is hard, man. Like, no matter what level you're in, it's difficult. No matter what, like my level, Max's level, no matter what level you're in, you're going to hit these mental blocks. And no matter how disciplined you think you are, right? I'm known for being, very, very strict with my rules, and even I break them, right? When kind of all the feels overcome everything, and you're like, fuck it, fuck everything, right? You're like, fuck it, and you start sending everything, and you're just like, what am I doing? And then afterwards, right, it's almost like that, like the post guilt feeling afterwards. And when you're like when you're stuck in that area of like emotionless feeling, I don't know how else to explain that, like where you're just numb a little bit to it, and you're just like, everything's always happening like this, blah blah blah, right? You're giving your reasons and stuff, like you stop caring, and then that leads to more bleed through, and eventually you'll snap out of it, and you gotta refocus, reteach yourself, all the bad reasons, like, okay, remember not to do this because this happened, and remember to wait because of this and this and that, and all these other rules and things that you got to do. So here's that break of that 11. It is pushing down to the 90 with 0 pull up. So there's that blue break and retest. This one, if you took that one, right, tippy tip break, tippy tip stop loss, if you had your stop loss right above that candle, That would have been a strat 6 for me if I put my stop loss here. I always give it a couple points of breathing room. So if I had the stop loss at 315, I probably would have put it, right? Your entry would have been around 310. I probably would have given it a couple more points of breathing room there, right? That would have been a super low risk for that push to 290. So there's that push to 290. We got a purple on the 5. So the 5 might be rangy. It could be a big range on the New York today. Would not be surprised. We're about 850. This journey takes a team, not a one-man army. Yeah, I agree with you, brother. Look, there's a 290. There's 290. Dom is not reacting here yet. So it might try to break through it. Oh, there's the Dom reacting, but it's not pushing up. The Dom started pushing, and then it kind of is bleeding through. Dom sped up a little bit at 90. Look at that 5-minute purple pushing it. So that's giving it the strength. I'm going to put this line up here. See if it stays. So here you got a good example of a break and retest on the 2, right? Not an ideal for me because of that 90 being cautious with it, but it's playing out. Broke. I'm out. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete this. So now that 5-minute needs to break 290, and then you're going to test the rest of this stuff down here. Breaks that 69, 64, then you'll test that 44 area. That's what I'm not doing. No course. Thank you, Corey. Appreciate that. But we have plenty of courses that, still are, all our courses are great. Look at that thing just broke through 90. The Dom was very telling, that speed up, and it did not bounce at all. Gave you that bleed through. And that's how I read the Dom a little bit. If you guys are reading your Dom, if you saw that speed up at 290, it did not pull up at all. That was a tell of, okay, it wants to bleed through it a little bit, right? But that 5-minute needs to close below 290. So you want to see it kind of pull up to 290 and show resistance there. If it does, we're going to get a new 5-minute level creation at 322 as well. Time to get the kids ready for the day. Have a great day, Scat. It's okay, big brain, right? We do Sundays every Sundays. This is a nice short. If anybody caught it from 310, it is a nice short, not one I would have taken. But still, it was a low risk too. It was literally like 6-7 point risk. But I've been really honed on my rules and stuff. So it's fun to watch it. All right, here's our next area, the 69 area. The Dom's still not really reacting yet. It's not speeding up at all. Now it's kind of speeding up a little bit, but speeding up, pushing down. I'd want to see it kind of, if this area is going to hold, to speed up and pull up. But right now it's speeding up and pulling down. I have several quantum family reached out to me when my mom passed, and it just reinforces the family that, yeah, exactly, Alaskan. That's the beauty, of you when you guys are in a great trading community, and this is a great too, right? We have our fun, we make our jokes, we do our thing, but in the end, it's all love. Like we all love. Like I love to teach, I love to show people what I do, right? Like I'm here. My coaching sessions are always more than 2 hours because I love to yap about the market, right? This is my passion. Like I love to. I know Logan says he doesn't love to trade, right? But I love to trade. I fucking love this. Like. I can do this all day and still have fun and not bat an eye or feel like, I fucked up somehow because I have my rules. So for me, this is always, enjoyable. Look at that bounce off that level. 69, pushed up for 15-ish points so far. Back down. All right, this is where I like take these little quick scalps. If I saw that reaction, it did speed up and give you that pull up, and that was it. But it's speeding up again. So definitely speeding up in that 70 area and pulling up. So now you want to see it the action lines kind of start to curl. You want to see it start to curl and start to pull up over 90 if it's going to come back to retest any of this zone here. But for now, right, anytime it kind of pulls up and rejects, it's going to keep bouncing around here. It could get stuck in here. What time is it? 8:50. So 8:52, close to 9. There's going to be a little push of volume at 9, so be careful with any setups you guys are going to take right now too, because it could go either way. I'm looking at my Dom and saw... You didn't see it? Like, look, the Dom's going crazy right now at 68. Are you on Trade of Eights, Dom? Because you see, it starts to speed up. It's a kick and speed. It just kicks. Sometimes it's subtle, but you can tell the difference from where it slows down and it flows, and then when it hits an area, you can see it kick in speed. So right now, right, it was kicking in speed at 70, now it's slowing down a little bit, and it's trying to break the levels. But I want to see it kick in speed and pull up. It's doing it a little bit right now, but not the speed didn't really kick in. There's the speed right now, and there's the pull up. But can it keep pulling itself up? Because this kick in speed could be resistance here too now. So you want to see it kick, and then you want to see it push, not reject, just like it's doing right now. So it's 73 area, has a little bit of resistance. But if it can rip right through that continuation kick and speed around there, and then pull those right through it, we might see that push off of it. So if you're looking at the DOM, can you explain how you would have played that short? Yeah, that's this short. This is a simple 2 and 1 minute candle, blue candle break. So here, let's draw the line. Right, this would be your blue candle, right? Blue candle support, blue candle support. Okay, so let me small size the 5 minute for now. So the entry on this for me is always the retest of the blue break. So this is going to be my entry point right here, right? I'm looking for the entry around that 310 area. My stop loss is always going to be guided by the breaking candle. If I don't have a quantum candle or a level, okay? So here, right, that's my entry. Entry from blue break, okay? And then my stop loss will be guided by the breaking candle right there. So this one will be the breaking candle and stop loss guide. Okay. So if I'm looking at this, right, kind of have it something like this. My entry would be around here. My stop loss would be slightly above. It's the magnet. Right, slightly above. And then I would look for, obviously, 1-1 first. But again, this is risking 5 points. So I'm looking for 10 points first, right? 10 points first. So I would have gotten my 10 points right around here. And then the runner, obviously the 10 point just bled through. So you'd be running really, really good on that runner right now. And it just so happens to continue to go back all the way down to the levels. So now it would look like this, right? Like that's your risk. That's your risk. That's your stop loss right above that breaking candle. And you caught that move. If it broke 90, which it did, now it's at 64. Now it's trying to break that 64. The curl up is not occurring very well right now, right? It's not bowling like I like to see it. It's still pushing down. The DOM is looking like it's getting weaker and weaker. So be careful. And that's what that would look like, right? So that this example is the exact same example. I can't transfer them over, right? As here, as the 2 minute. All right, let's go over to the 2 minute, and it is identical. The only issue with these, right, these are tip breaks. They're not ideal. Okay, I'm not a big fan of the tip breaks, but it's the exact same thing. On every single time frame, the entry is the exact same thing. So entry on blue break, retest, okay. Okay, and then your stop loss guide on the 2. Okay. So there it is again, right? Stop loss guide. You're looking to enter at the retest, right? And if you played it to 290, right, that's what it would have looked like. It would have been a higher risk on the higher time frames, just like again, higher time frames lead to higher risk on the higher time frame, right? You would have gotten your 1-1, and then your obviously your runner would have continued to run all the way down to that next bed of levels, and then it would look like that. Now you had caught what 1-4, whatever it is now, right? Again, I don't look at like R&R like that. I let my runners collect. I always take something out, and I always have a main TP, which is 1-1. So I would have collected my 12 on if I played it on the 2, I would have collected my 12 and let the runner continue to eat. That's why I always have like 1 or 2 runners going. Yeah, she's gonna push all the way back down to the 40s, huh? So that was actually a very nice. Again, these are the confluences I wait for, right? I wasn't interested in shorting anything up here because I wanted to have added confluences. You did have the confluence with the blue break and the 5-minute push down. And now you're getting that push down, right? No trifecta here because there's no cells on the 1 or the 2. This is just a pure 5-minute push that could test the bottom side of that 40 all over again. So, and again, right? Those of you who are P2P guys and caught the 786 touch, you saw the nice, beautiful A++ push to it and rejected it. And again, this is why like quantum is just like that wine. It's like that wine that can pair with everything. Like you can find something to pair it with, it's going to pair with it. This is going to try to create a level again where the other one was. If it cannot hold above it, there it's going right now. The DOM is not showing any strength of pull up right now. Every pull up, the DOM goes crazy and pulls down hard. I'm charting on NQ on TradingView, and you can chart on MNQ. There are going to be slight differences, very, very slight differences, because there is difference in volume between NQ and MNQ, and it may affect where the levels are by the tiniest fraction, and you may miss a candle here and there. One candle, it's the quantum candles are not fully reliant on volume. It's a tiny, tiny part of it, but if that tiny part is a little bit different, it will affect it. So there are examples of where MNQ might trigger something and NQ won't. And then there's also examples of where NQ will trigger something and MNQ won't. So it's just one of those things. We tried to do a workaround around it, and it's just whatever they decide to have the differences on, it just, we have no say in it. So see, look, exactly what Papa Luke, right? Papa Luke, you got that. But you might have it set to trigger a couple candles behind. Technically, right, if I'm looking at it on the 1, let me take a look at where the level was on the wick. It is an A++ setup because the level did create it on the wick. And again, I count the wicks as bodies of our quantum candles because as long as it holds below it, right, the purple line's right above it, right, that will count. But the thing is right now, this one is 2 candles behind. Doesn't make it invalid, makes it a little riskier. And the way you could change this, right, I think you might have done this, Papa Luke, is if you change your max bars since trigger candle, I think it's 2, you have to change it to 2. Hold on, let me see. And you could make it before, or is it the other one? I have to go check. I think it might be the other one. We put this to 1 and this to 2. There it is. All right, so it was the second one. So it was the max bars. So if you do your max bar signal cross to 2, right? On the 5-minute, I do have it set to 3. So on the 5-minute, I do have it set to 3. Max bar signal cross 3, right? So it'll just add how many candles before or in front if we will trigger that signal. And just be careful with that because if you push it in, if it occurs 2 candles in front, all of a sudden it'll paint that signal, which is why I like to have it only within 1. But you'll see it like this, right? It happened within 2, you're going to see that signal trigger. I personally like to have it set within 1 so that I don't see a bunch of other signals that shouldn't really have painted on some setups. You ever pay attention to the 15-minute? No, I don't, Alaskan. I'm too impatient for that. I'm way too impatient for that. I do take a look at the 15-minute trend every once in a while because the 15-minute trend is the other trend that I do like to watch. And again, right, the 15-minute trend would be this bottom side, but then you have that secondary trend area to look out for, right, on the 15-minute as well. The problem with these, right, yeah, it's a cross, it's an A++ setup on the 15, but this could pull all the way up to retest 305. Like, that's the issue with that, right? It could. It might not, right? It'd be great if it doesn't. It'd be great if it just bleeds through, but it could. Like, that's the part of it. Like, it could decide to hit this 44 and shoot up and retest that 305. And that's the scary part about the higher time frames, right? If you could take that drawdown, fine. Like, I don't want to eat up potentially 50 points of drawdown to try to catch a 15-minute signal. But you can mark this, right? That's a 15-minute candle. So this is something that I would mark up on my 5-minute. So I would do this, right? Add text, 15-minute. That's a major area. And you could do the same thing, right, with any blues you have here, right? 15-minute. It lines up with the 5-minute as well. You have another one here. $15-minute. Remember this one. Forgot how to do that part. Text, bottom, top. Actually, let me put it at the center. Let me put these at the center. It makes it look a little easier. All right, there we go. Looks a little easier. It looks a little bit better when it's at the center. Middle. All right, just like that. All right, and I could set these up. Again, you have this one here. Middle. 15-minute. All right, this is how you can add these levels that you have here, because they're going to be major areas to look for on the 15-minute time frame. All right, again, this is why you want to be careful. Right, this is a 15-minute that crossed in front, so the move was kind of already happening, but that's why you want to be careful with those. All right, and then you can leave it like that for now. So you have a ton of little areas. That 40 area is going to be a potential strong area. You already saw a bounce off of 52. So if it breaks through 42, then we have 15 on the 5, 180 on the 5, below 180. On the 15, you have room all the way down to 30.91. But you'd have to look at your 5-minute and 2-minute and 1 where the pauses could happen. And there you have your 5-minute areas. All right, you were not worried because there was a pink after the blue? With this short right here? There's always something to be cautious of, right? You're always cautious of something. But once that blue breaks, that's a failed bullish move. I'm not going to have a stop loss all the way up here, though. But you're talking about this sell signal? This, yeah, I would, this is just potentially testing the bottom. So you could catch it from 98. Your stop loss will be 35. So that's a 7-point stop loss, and you have room down to 311. So there was room in this particular setup to challenge that blue candle. Very risky still, though, because, yeah, you're challenging a blue candle. But you have room. You had room to it. It looks like there's a little fight happening over here between the 60. It's trying to hold above 60, then pull below 60. So right now, looks like it just broke it and retested and pushing, but that 40 area. You were not worried. Do you usually mark up the blues and purples on the 1-minute or the 5-minute? I mark them up on each time frame, that whatever time frame I'm trading. So if I'm trading off the 1, I'm going to be marking them on the 1, but the higher time frames, I leave them alone, right? I'm always looking at my 5-minute, so I know, that this 40 area has a 5-minute, 1-minute, and 2-minute candle, right? All these here. Right below here, right, we have golden MVGs. I'm not lining them up. I'm just looking, okay, I have a 5-minute level at 17, right? It's kind of far, so it's not printing on the 1-minute yet. But as it gets closer, you'll see it up here, right? But the blue candles, I don't have a blue candle. I do have a blue candle 14. So you could put it there if you want. I'm always looking at my 5-minute, so I have no reason to put them on my 1-minute as well. I'm usually on them with whatever time frame I'm trading. So if I break that 40 area, I have room for 40 to 26. From 26 to 17, very tight, right? 17 all the way down to 198. And then I'll take a look, what do I have in between? I have 214. So this 14, 17, this 217, 214 area is going to be an area where you might expect, a little bit of a bounce if it gets down there, and then so on and so forth, right? 180. So 180, what's at 180? This golden MVG down here and that 176. If it manages to break through this, that's the next area where you might see a little bit of reaction as well. And then if it breaks through that, right, get rid of that guy. We have room on the 1-minute, pretty much all the way down here. But what do we have on the 5? Nothing either. What do we have on the 2? You have that one level at 37. So that's where you can kind of see where your pauses are going to occur. As long as you keep breaking blues, right? For me, as long as we keep breaking blues, then the flip of the trend is strong. As long as the purples keep holding and the blues keep breaking, the trend flip is strong. You're always going to have little, obviously you're going to have flips and trend here and there on the lower time frames especially. But here we go, right? Purple formed. Now let's see if it breaks this, and this is the flip, right? The 5 minute, this 240 area. There's bleeding through already. What a short. That 5 minute A++ played out pretty well so far. Breaking through 240. Below that, it's making its way to 26. Then you have this pocket in here. So you want it to stay underneath 44. If it pops back over 44, it could challenge 67. Could. Right? Stays below that. We're going to keep challenging these levels below. But yeah, it looks like that 15 minute A++ is playing out too. Let's take a look at the 30. Let me see what the 30 is looking like. It's trying to curl down too. So you got a 5 minute and 15 minute lining up. So there's the 15 minute and then the 5 minute, right? But again, I don't look at the higher time frames. Let's look at the 10. Let me look at the 10 minute. Do we have a 5, 10, and 15 trifecta? No, we don't. We don't have a 5, 10, and 15 trifecta. Just a 5 minute and a 15 minute push. And it's playing out pretty well. But I just don't look at the higher time frames. I'm not patient enough. That's just me. You guys absolutely can. If you guys are way more patient than me, again, this is the beauty of it. You can make it your own. Right now we got a level at 335. So see if you want to reject 335, you want it to break 226 next. On the 2 minute, right? 2 minute candle still has a while, right? We already broke this blue. There it goes, right? We're breaking the blues now. Strong flipping trend. Look at that. Breaking the blues. Purple's getting respected. Strong flipping trend. 5 minutes trying to do it as well. Next area is that 14. There it goes. Wicking down. There's a little bit of a wick up. Look at that. Very, very nice 5 minute setup there. If any of you took it, you're hitting it with 6 micros. Let's go, Big Marine. So there was 2 very, very nice setups so far for this opening session. So you can see how you can catch these nice moves, right? They're not always going to be violent like this, but you can see there's decent moves that occur here and there. There's the break. Right now you want to see it stay underneath 230, 235, right? But you're stuck between 217 and 235 on the 1. This is where you could get stuck. Right, you ideally on the 2, you want to see it reject this. It could pull up to 35. You'd want it to stay underneath 42 on the 2. If it breaks over 42, good chance you're going to go test something up high. So there's that break, and there's a little retest at 26. Nice rejection down. Right, needs to stay underneath that 17 and a quarter though. 17 and a quarter breaks, then we have our 198. Same on the 5, right? This 5 minute is a blue candle at 214 as well. So this 14 area needs to break. And then you can continue your merry way down. Very nice, Corey. So we're going to cut it here, y'all. Very nice hour 10 session. We caught an insane trifecta long. And if any of you guys caught this short, great. Amazing, right? I caught the move up. I had no reason to take anything right now. I did not. Other than the long, I locked myself out of my pros already, so I'm fucking happy with that. And I hope you guys learned something, right? That's why I do these. Hopefully you guys pick something up and you guys can use this to give you extra guidance in the market, in the wild, wild world of the market. I'll see you guys for Power Hour and for Asia. I'm telling you, you guys are going to see me a lot today and tomorrow. Power Hour and then again for Asia. So I'll see you guys later. When do you do the pre-markets? Very rarely, because today my kids don't have school. So I was able to pop in. I even forgot. My wife told me yesterday, I'm like, okay, let's do a morning session. So they didn't have school today. So I was able to pop in with you guys early. So they're going to be on a whim when they happen. I'm trying to let everyone know ahead of time, but it's hard. But I'll see you guys later, okay? Appreciate you. Every single one of you guys. Love you. Trade safe, right? If you guys caught these moves already, lock out those accounts and go have fun on another account. So peace out, everybody.